In this video, we'll show you scammers who got called out on Pawn Stars. Without further ado, let's get started.
Hey, what can I help you with?
I've got something here for you to see.
Okay.
It's a Beatles guitar, all signed by the four of them.
Whoa,
A lady walked into the pawn shop one day with something truly remarkable, an acoustic guitar signed by all four members of the world-famous band, the Beatles. Rick couldn't believe what he was seeing and immediately asked how she managed to get her hands on such a rare piece of music history.
I actually got it from a customer. I was in a wholesale t-shirt business, but he took the guitar and had it signed.
Rick was amazed by the guitar, but as a true Beatles fan and collector of their memorabilia, he couldn't help but wonder, was this the real deal or just another clever fake?
the fact of the matter is you rarely, if ever, see all four autographs on one thing. If this lady's story actually checks out, this would be a mega find.
Rick asked about the guitar's authenticity, and the lady said she had already shown it to several experts before. Rick explained that sometimes it wasn't the Beatles who signed items, but it was actually their roadies trying to impress fans. When the lady revealed she wanted $100,000 for the guitar, Rick decided to call in an expert.
Can I whip it out?
You may whip it out.
So what are you concerned about?
I'm looking at a guitar that's got these autographs on it. Alarm bells go off in my head.
Well, you're quite right to be suspicious because it would be $250,000. Easy.
Warwick Stone, a music memorabilia curator, took a closer look at the guitar, and things didn't look good for the lady hoping to sell it.
Anybody signed anything in 1964, they'd be signing with a ballpoint pen.
That's not really true.
The discussion between the lady and Warwick went back and forth until Warwick finally gave his verdict. He said the guitar was simply too good to be true. Wanting to be sure, Rick decided to call in another expert, one who specialized in authenticating signatures.
Looked at it, he had a real problem with the pen.
Okay.
So would they have this pen in 1964?
This definitely looks fiber tip, so that could also be a Sharpie.
Expert Steve Grad came in to examine the signatures on the guitar. At first, things looked promising as he compared them with authentic Beatles signatures. But as the inspection went on, the truth slowly came to light.
So there's some things on here that I find pretty interesting.
Okay.
When I take a look at the whole thing, I've seen this before. Especially have seen this inscription before.
Okay, so what are you saying?
It's not real.
Oh,
Okay.
And I know the guy who did it. And he's a pretty famous guy. He's been doing this for years and years. He's kind of out of the running now.
Steve pointed out details that didn't match, like Ringo Starr's signature. The star was noticeably off. With that information, Rick knew he couldn't make the deal. The lady left the shop heartbroken, but still convinced that the signatures were real.
I've got a Hudson Bay gorget made probably around the 1700s.
Hey, Rick, what the hell's a 4J?
A young man went into the pawn shop hoping to sell his Hudson Bay gorget. He hoped to sell it for a large amount of money. Rick and the old man decided to take a closer look before making any decisions.
What do you know about this thing?
As far as I know, it was made by Hudson Bay, somewhere probably around 1700s. My dad actually got it. He picked it up in an auction.
Do you know what he paid for it?
Second mortgage on his house.
Rick was surprised to hear how much the young man's father had paid for the gorget. Rick proceeded to show his knowledge of such historical pieces, and he made it clear that he wasn't someone who could be easily fooled.
These go way back in time. It was to defend against a knife thrust or a sword thrust to your neck. I know the Hudson Bay Company was one of the oldest companies in North America. They were a trade company.
Hell, Rick, me pioneering this shop, maybe I ought to wear something like that.
I don't think that would fit around your head.
Okay.
After taking a closer look, Rick discovered that the gorget was actually a trade piece once given to Native Americans with beads made of Venetian glass. After a few more checks, Rick finally asked the question he'd been waiting to ask.
And how much you want for it?
Probably about 100,000.
You know, I don't see that happening.
Why not?
Because I think it's worth a lot less.
Rick disagreed with the young man's valuation, explaining that the item was actually worth $99,000 less than what he was asking for. With a frustrated look of disbelief, the young man could only listen as Rick explained why.
All right, what the are you talking about?
Son, you're way out of line.
Basically, I'm just trying to tell you I'm not bullshitting you. I've seen auctions for these things, and they generally go for right around $1,500.
All right.
The young man decided that he didn't want to listen to Rick's explanation and valuation any longer. He then decided to leave the store with empty pockets and the gorget still in hand.
You tell me what it is.
Well, it appears to be a Salvador Dali. You didn't put the glitter on it, did you?
No.
In one episode, a man walked into the pawn shop carrying a Salvador Dali painting. He explained that he had owned it for about 10 to 12 years and now wanted to sell it, hoping to get a big paycheck since he needed the money.
All right, yeah, Salvador Dali, pretty neat guy, weird guy. He came up with the whole melting clocks, and they were really, really popular.
After examining the painting closely, Rick expressed some doubt since he had never seen a Salvador Dali piece that was bedazzled like this one. Still, he mentioned that if it turned out to be real, it could be worth upwards of $10,000, and he decided to call in an expert.
So if this thing is legit, of course I want it. But any artist who's really popular with collectors is really popular with forgers. So you always have to be careful.
Not only was he a surrealist in his artwork, he was pretty surreal. He was an interesting guy. There's a famous story where he was out with a buddy of his, and they were walking across a bridge, and he literally pushed his friend off the bridge into the rocks below to see how he reacted to the pain.
He wasn't eccentric, he was crazy. I don't care what you say.
The expert noted that Dali had experimented with adding glitter to his artwork before, so it being real was still a possibility. To be sure, he consulted Dali's annual print price guide, which listed all of the artist's known works, to determine whether the painting was real or fake.
Quintessential images, the melting clock, the rearing horse, the rider. If it's an authentic, hand-embellished Salvador Dali, it can be very, very valuable.
Give us some good news, Brett.
After carefully going through Dali's annual print price guide, the expert couldn't find the painting listed and concluded it was most likely a fake. However, he pointed out that while the artwork itself wasn't genuine, the signature at the bottom might still be real.
Blank paper, so dealers or galleries, they could do whatever they wanted with the paper. They could print images on there, they could do all sorts of different things. So I can't authenticate the signature. There's a chance that it could be his signature.
So that signature should be worth at least 50 grand, shouldn't it?
With high hopes, the man asked if the signature alone could be worth $50,000. Unfortunately for him, the expert had a much lower valuation in mind.
Somewhere around $600, $700, $800.
The frame costs more than that in the matting.
Thanks a lot, I appreciate
Rick,
it, man.
hey, my pleasure.
After the expert left, Rick and the man couldn't reach a deal. Rick just didn't see any profit in the item. In the end, Rick shared a bit of advice for anyone planning to bring something into the shop. Here's my advice to people who want me to buy their stuff. Get it checked out first. Even though these scammers got called out, not everyone gets caught that easily. Click now to watch the times the Pawn Stars deal's gone wrong.